Bump, bump. Bump, bump. Bring. What day is today? Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. I'm Marcus Grant, joined by Greg Bergman and Parker Bell. And it's Kershaw Day, fellas.
Kershaw Day.
Early Kershaw Day.
It's an early Kershaw Day. It is an early start, a 10:10 a.m. start time out here on the West Coast, 1:10 as they wrap things up Eastern time in Cleveland. Although I guess the 12:10 local time? It's Central time, right? Cleveland?
Mm-hmm.
No, Cleveland's. I'm pretty sure Ohio is actually Eastern time. Whatever. This has been
Eastern.
This has been time zone talk here on the Blue Review.
On the Blue Review, and I don't think we actually came to any agreement at all of what it is.
It's Eastern. It's Eastern Daylight.
It's Eastern time. Yeah, it's Eastern time. So a 1:10 start in Cleveland, 10:10 start out here in Los Angeles. Now that we've gotten that part out of the way, why do you have a shout out to the folks at LAX? They are transforming the travel experience, saving guests time. The People Mover train coming early next year. I believe the Metro connector to LAX also expected to be open very, very soon. So things getting better, getting easier, getting in and out. If you want more information, you can go to flylax.com/transforminglAX. The Dodgers get another win against the Guardians on Tuesday, a 7-5 final in that one. And Greg, I got to start with your guy, Michael Conforto, who hit his first home run since what, early April?
So his first home run since April 5th. That was also one of the last times he had an RBI. So I was looking through stuff yesterday, and that was only his second RBI since that April 5th home run. He had one on May 3rd when he did not have a hit. It was either a sack fly or
a sack fly.
Yeah, sack fly. It's going to be something. He was 0 for 5 with an RBI, but that was since April 5th, that was his second RBI and first home run. So that he has been very much on the struggle bus. But look, if this means hopefully things will start to change for Michael Conforto, that's a great thing.
Well, Greg, you saw Jack Harris's tweet sent by, of course, our friend Jeff, supporting Conforto on the slowest of slow grinds over the last 14 games, batting .267. That's a 12 for 45, I think, with 6 extra base hits, 822 OPS.
There you go. But if you actually look at it, he had 2 hits yesterday, which is great. Before that, 0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-1-1. So
are you programming binary code or something?
Programming Michael Conforto code. So if you want to say over the last 14 games, those numbers, that's what the actual numbers are. 0s and 1s.
Turtle in the hair, Greg. Turtle in the hair. It's a slow grind.
It is a slow grind for sure. But 267 over that last stretch, which I'm looking at it right now. The batting average had dipped all the way to 134. It has crept very slowly back up to 172.
Great.
So he's still a little ways away from hitting his weight. He's listed at 215, so he's still a ways away from getting to that. But starting to come around. More importantly, the Dodgers get a win. Dustin May goes out, and for the most part, it's a pretty good start. Parker, we were joking in the chat that we need a supercut of his reactions when he gives up a home run, because they're always very, very demonstrative, very entertaining. But Parker, I think for the most part, it was another good night for Dustin May yesterday.
No, I agree. I think we saw what we wanted to see out of him. We got the innings that we wanted to get out of him. So overall, Dodgers happy campers. But I agree. I think between May and Landon Knack, some of the most animated reactions. I know there's a meme going around of Landon Knack where he's just like, he's pointing at the home run that got hit off of him. But then also Dustin May, when he gets that third out, when he gets that big strikeout, he always has that patented hop off. But I was I don't want to say pleasantly surprised, but I think May met the expectations yesterday. And Greg, I don't know if maybe you saw something that was a little bit on the negative end, but I think that the stuff was there.
I don't think the negative end. I mean, he's walking guys a little bit too much. I mean, it's only 2 walks, but still, that you don't want to get any walks. I think the home run was really the only mistake pitch that he had. It was a fastball that he just let sit there, and it got smacked. But besides that, he was pitching really well. 9 strikeouts. He got through 5. You could see towards the later fourth and fifth inning, fourth and fifth inning, it just started to be more of a grind for him. That he was really starting. Mark Pryor had to come out. He wasn't the same tight self that he was at the beginning of the game. So I'm always very pleasantly. Now you got me saying pleasantly. I'm always happy when I see a good Dustin May outing, and this is absolutely what you want. Because think about it, Dustin May is your 5th starter. Essentially, right now you need him to be a little bit higher because everybody's injured. But he's your 5th starter, what he's supposed to be. If he's going to give him 3 runs, that's exactly kind of what you expect out of that guy. So, and it was just the home run that was the problem. So, I liked what I saw for the most part out of May. Never want to see the home run, but I was very pleased.
Yeah, I thought it was a good start for him. Again, another start, though, where he gives you at least 5 innings. He's done that in every single start. So, at least the feeling is when May is on the mound, you know you're going to get 5. Hopefully you get a little bit more, and another night where you can sort of ideally give the bullpen a bit of a night off. Look, at this point, Greg, you mentioned Dustin May in a perfect world is the number 5 starter. As he continues to build up and continues to maybe expand a little bit, let's skip ahead, right? Let's skip to the final chapter. Is this a guy right now that's worthy of a postseason spot in the rotation, depending on how things go?
If everybody's healthy?
If everybody's healthy, yeah, sure.
No, then probably not. He'd probably not. He'll probably be coming out of the bullpen. He's done it before. He'll have to pitch a couple times at the end. Like he'll get maybe a long relief kind of situation. But if everybody's healthy, he's that 5th starter. So Tony Gonsolin probably wouldn't even be starting at this point. If everybody's healthy, it's probably going to be Shohei Ohtani, Yamamoto, Roki Sasaki, Glasnow, Snell, and one of those guys is going to come off that list. Sasaki probably.
I guess you think Sasaki. I was like, I don't know if Sasaki necessarily makes that list as a starter right now.
No. At the end of the year, he probably will not be factoring in.
I'm as you guys are talking, scrolling. I'm scrolling for information about Tyler Glasnow, just to see what his timeline is.
Oh goodness.
He's throwing. That's a positive. He's throwing off a mound. At least as of a couple of days ago, was throwing off a mound, starting to get a little bit closer. I don't know, unless you guys have seen something different. I don't know that there's an actual timeline necessarily, but he's working, and that's positive.
Yeah, he's working. I don't think there's any timelines on anybody. They're just going to kind of take their time, and when they're ready kind of situation. And it seems like it's progressing in the right way. All these pitchers seem to be progressing. There's no setbacks that we're hearing from. So that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, I think while we're seeing all these no timelines, we're almost going to get the most updates on Shohei more than anyone. It seems like early, like post All-Star break is looking like where he might start really ramping up that live action. We might see some open games and stuff from him, but outside of that, we're not getting any updates other than it's progressing. And then Snell, of course, I think is one of those where probably won't even see him in June.
Yeah, I would be surprised if we see Blake Snell before the All-Star break. It seems like he's a post All-Star break, late July sort of return here. In the meantime, they seem to be kind of plugging along, getting decent enough starts out of some guys, getting decent enough stints out of the bullpen from some guys. So I think as long as that can kind of continue, and again, this is we're in the midst of this really, really rough stretch where they're facing a bunch of teams that are over 500. The Yankees are going to come to town. We'll get to that a little bit later. The Yankees come to town, the Mets come back, and then finally they get into their top competition in the NL West with the Padres and Giants on the schedule in the very near future as well. I see in the chat here, Thomas Vizek talking about Conforto and Muncy. Don't let Conforto and Muncy hitting home runs distract you from wanting them still on the team. One play doesn't make up poor stat lines and past mistakes. Greg, it feels like the chat is done with Max Muncy.
Yeah, I feel like the chat is done with Max Muncy and Michael Conforto, and like I know we give a lot of hell to Conforto and really to Muncy, but they're not going to be leaving the team for quite some time, if at all. Muncy specifically, he's starting to kind of turn it around. You can see that the ball is being hit harder. Everybody strikes out. So if you see it one strikeout, you can't get upset. It's just a normal part of the game. But he's starting to come around. The problem with Muncy is the defense. And I think because the defense is causing guys to pick up extra outs that they have to get through, that's causing more issues for the chat and for fans. I know it annoys the hell out of me. So they're not going anywhere for quite some time. There's no better option at third base right now. I mean, Kike maybe, but also we don't know what Alex Freeland is. We don't know I don't know if he's on the 40-man roster even, because if you pull him up, somebody has to go off the 40-man roster. So there's a lot of things that are not going to happen for quite some time. Those two guys specifically are going to get a long, long leash. And Conforto, if you give him 1 year, $17 million, you're going to give him a leash. It's not going to be like, okay, we're in the end of May. That's it. We're done with you. They're going to give him some time.
And Greg, you know what's funny is that while we're saying all this, your guy Freeland is absolutely raking down in OKC. I think he's got 3 homers in the last 3 games. That batting average is still up or hovering around 300. So it's another reason why people are like Muncy. But I agree with you completely. That leash is a lot longer when there's 17 million attached to guys like Conforto.
Yeah, Conforto's going to play. They want him in the lineup every day. They want him to try to work through this. I know the talk was he's been working extra in the cage, and the coaches are starting to see something. It feels like maybe he's starting to find something there. So hopefully that translates into games. To your point, Greg, Alex Freeland not on the 40-man roster, no. So I think they would be very hesitant to make that move. They still want a lot of team control over his service time and that sort of thing. So I think they're going to wait as long as possible before we see him at all. If we see him at all this year, I mean, I think there's a chance we don't see him at all if everybody, fingers crossed, stays healthy and is at least reasonably productive. So I think that's going to be sort of the key there. On the good side of things, guys, I'm going to say what nobody else is willing to say here.
Do it. Say it.
Shohei Ohtani is good at baseball.
Whoa.
I know. This is why you have me on this show. It's to make big, hot takes like this. Shohei, another home run last night. 20 right now for the season to lead Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
I know we said he wouldn't do 50-50 this year, and I'm still sort of holding to that. But Parker, now I'm starting to think like
60-40.
Yeah, I'm like, could he get to 60 home runs this year? It feels like that's doable right now.
No, it completely is doable at the pace he's going. I mean, sure, he has his ups and downs throughout the seasons, but last year it took, I think, 75 games to reach 20, and now he's on pace at 55. So I think it could happen. And just that Oppo home run yesterday and seeing Bobby's reaction, I mean, you can mouth it. You know what he was saying. It's everybody's reaction. It shouldn't go that far on an off-speed pitch, like where it was placed, going Oppo. Shohei Ohtani, I mean, a unicorn every time we say it, Greg.
Yeah, so the last time I remember when I was first starting to watch him, and he was on that team down south that you are a fan of, the Angels.
Team, I don't know who that
is. But I was watching him, and there was a lot of times where he would do things like that. We haven't seen that so much as a Dodger. I mean, he still hits a lot of home runs, but it wasn't those mistake pitches as often. The ones that you're like, you shouldn't have gotten to that ball. It shouldn't have gone that far. It shouldn't have been able to hit that hard. And it shouldn't have looked that easy of a swing, just like a flick, and you knock it out of a park. That was one of those where you're like, that shouldn't be happening. I don't know how you actually got that over a wall. So it's just, to use Marcus' word, he's really good at baseball.
And Marcus, it is funny you mentioned that, Greg, because he was pitched to so differently when he was down south with that team that just lost 2 in a row to New York. It's a unique position that he's in now with the Dodgers, to where we let a guy who is already the best player in baseball be in an even better position because teams are already afraid to pitch to Mookie, to Freddie, to Teoscar. So I love watching this team, and I love watching Shohei, Marcus.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it is appointment television, right? Like when he comes to the plate, if I'm doing something like, I'll have the game's on, maybe walking around the house, but when Shohei is up, everything waits for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Like we're just gonna wait.
By the first inning.
Right, we're gonna wait and see what Shohei does, and then we'll finish doing whatever it is that we're doing, because you just don't want to miss what's going to happen. I did some quick math, by the way, which is always dangerous, but he is on pace for 59 home runs right now.
How do you do that math? It's like there's 53 games so far. There's 162. So
basically, I 162 divided by they played 55 games, which is like
55 or 50. Oh, he's been in 53 though. Yeah,
he's been in 53. All right. Well, I was just doing it based on 162 game schedule. Yeah, that's right. He missed a couple because he's a dad now. But my quick math has me at about 59 home, 58.9 if we're being exact about this.
Quick maths.
I mean, quick maths. Either way, like I could totally see him getting there. That is something that if he's on this pace right now, it really feels like he's getting one every single game. I think it's three. Was it three in a row?
3 in a row now. Yeah, he has got one every single game for the last 3 at least.
Because it was not in the first at bat. Nobody's ever done it 3 times in a row in his first at bat, right? Or he had never done it 3 times in a row in that leadoff. I don't know.
I don't believe so. No, I don't think he has. Well, I mean, because the leadoff thing is relatively new. It hasn't even been because I think it was about this time last year, wasn't it? When Mookie got hurt. Yeah. So this is about when he took over the leadoff spot.
Did he not lead off in Anaheim?
Not as often. No, it was actually you would see like Taylor Ward or Trout.
Yeah.
Outside of injuries, which of course is always down there.
Real fast, speaking of the Angels, we didn't talk about it yesterday, but I just want to give a shout out to the Angels for picking up Chris Taylor. Good for you for picking up Chris. Yeah. I'm happy that he caught on. Get him his 10-year service time. That'd be fantastic for him, for his family, get the pension, all of that. He did go over 3 with 3 or over 4 with 3 strikeouts, something along those lines. He did exactly what he did with the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's expecting that suddenly Chris Taylor is going to put on a new uniform and like just start raking again. But I think to your point, I think most fans are happy to see him land somewhere. Obviously, he gave the Dodgers a lot during his time here. It didn't necessarily end well, but such is life, actually. I mean, very, very rarely do guys get to leave on top playing well. So Chris Taylor has a new home. He just moves a little bit further south. Still waiting to see if Austin Barnes gets picked up because I think there's always going to be a need for a backup catcher. I think somebody's always going to want that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Austin Barnes get a call from somebody in the very near future as well.
Hope so.
Yeah. Series finale coming up in a little over an hour, about hour and a half, I guess, if we're going to call it like that. Clayton Kershaw on the mound, and when we started the show, you said it's Kershaw Day, and I was like, really? Because it seemed really quick. He pitched on Friday for 2 innings before the rain shut him down, and then I realized that, I guess it is Wednesday, so it sort of does track that he'd be pitching again. But Greg, I mean, he was starting to look good, right? I know it was only 2 innings, but he looked good against the Mets. This is a Guardians team that does not have nearly the level of offense that the Mets do. So your hopes, your expectations for Kershaw today?
I mean, I hope he does what he kind of builds on those 2 innings that he had. He only had 26 pitches in that game, so it's a little bit easier to come back on. It basically was a bullpen day for him, so that's what he's going to do anyway. It's the 5th day, so it kind of makes sense. But either way, I hope that he actually just keeps getting some swing and miss and just is more confident in his pitch. He's hitting his locations. The funny thing is, too, is that they were talking on the broadcast yesterday the entire time is that it's supposed to rain in Cleveland today.
Oh, gosh.
Of course it is.
I looked up the weather. It says 0% precipitation, so that's good. But they were talking about how they may not even get the game in. They may be raining when the game's. So he may have back-to-back rain starts. This is what happens when you go to the East Coast. Just rain. All the time.
Poor guy.
Yeah. I'm looking and I don't see any rain in the forecast, but I know that, in the Midwest, things change rapidly too.
Mm-hmm. All I'm hoping for, Marcus, is that we don't see an 11 to 12 pitch at bat like May had with Jose Ramirez with a little bit of rain, because that is just the worst sign for Kershaw. If you start getting those grueling long at bats against Steven Kwan, against against Ramirez there, then it might start looking a little tough early. But I think that what we saw against that Mets game with a little bit of the rain, Kershaw has it, and he's going to be looking good. And there's a weird stat. I think he's like 19-3 since 2018. Of course, not the same Kershaw, but it's a weird baseball coincidence. And Greg, you'll appreciate this. When it's against a non-divisional opponent on the money line, he's like 18-3. So you're a big gambler now, so
I am a big gambler now. And I also love baseball stats because it's always the most ridiculous thing. And on the third Wednesday of the second month of the season, through 3 innings in day games, you can make this. He's the first person to do this. You can do that in any single situation. I think it's Cespedes Barbecue, Family Barbecue on Twitter. They always take the really crazy stats and put them out there. It's pretty fun.
I just want to know, what is his opponent batting average against for players that have a Y in their last name? Let's figure that out.
So someone will have that.
Sarah Langs.
Sarah Langs would have it.
Sarah Langs would absolutely have it.
Kershaw, our guy Jeff Spiegel may have it. He won't be here this Friday, but we can ask him next.
It's true. He's probably compiling it somewhere. On the other side, Drew Allard getting the start. Or I guess the open is what we're calling this, because it seems like he's not a guy who has a lot of starts under his belt. So this could be a bullpen situation for the Guardians in this one. I don't know if you know, or Colby Allard, Drew Allard, I think is somebody else. I don't know how much you know about Colby Allard, or your any insight either of you may have into Colby Allard.
I looked him up just a little bit before the show, and it seems like he doesn't usually start games. It seems like he's an opener. He's pitched 6 innings once, and that was in April, the end of April. Everything else was like 1, 3, 4, 1. It was all low numbered innings. So he does pitch, but he's a lefty. But it seems like this is only going to be for an inning or two, or probably a opener situation. Yeah, basically go as long as you need to go, as you can.
Yeah, he did this 4 times last year, I believe, with the Phillies, and went 3-1 in those starts. So some guys are kind of built for these spot starts. Dodgers fans would know that we have guys like that, the Kaspariuses and such. So it might be an interesting matchup for them, but I think if the Dodgers hop on him early, then it's going to be a good game for Kershaw because, hey, run support, please. Run support, please.
Yeah, run support is going to be important. It's been nice the last couple of nights to see guys who generally don't get run support get some. I mean, Yamamoto got some runs behind him. May got some runs behind him. So hopefully the Dodgers can keep this going and get the sweep of the Guardians, continue to put up some runs, take the day off, and then get ready for what's going to be a huge, huge weekend series against the Yankees coming up at Dodger Stadium, which you mentioned the Yankees have won the first 2 from the Angels. Although I did catch a little bit of last night's game, and the Angels made it interesting. Devin Williams was a little bit shaky in the 9th inning, and the Angels actually had what would have been the winning run at the plate, and Logan O'Hoppe popped out to end things. But they did make things interesting.
Yeah, who would have had Devin Williams and Tanner Scott as some of the more shaky high-end relievers,
right?
But
so weird. It's early. They'll both figure it out. I know Devin Williams will figure it out too. But yeah, the Yankees have been very good recently. They've won something like 14 of their last 18. They've been, and Judge is still hovering around 400. So that tells. He also gets walked a ton.
He gets walked a lot. 81 hits in 205 at bats. 395 average with 18 home runs and 47 runs batted in. But we will deal with that when we have to deal with that. In the meantime, we'll figure out what happens with the Guardians, whether the Dodgers can finish off the sweep. They've already won the series and sort of salvaging a little bit of the road trip after a tough go of it to start things on the road here. But we're back to talk about it all tomorrow and then some. I appreciate you hanging out as always and participating in the chat. Thanks to LAX as well. For Greg Bergman, for Parker Bell, I am Marcus Grant. Stick around. Travis and DeMarco coming up next here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. Be with you tomorrow, 8:30 to 8:55 for another edition of The Blue Review. We will see you then.